The following is the extract of a course linked in the description.
Hello guys, thank you for joining me in this new video. So what we're gonna get into now is gonna be the mastering session with me using the plugin. I was actually just gonna use the plugin that I use most of the time, but actually what I decided to do is to show you the three ones that I have mentioned. So you're gonna see them, and we're gonna try to compare a little bit of sound. There shouldn't be a lot of difference there, but this is what we're gonna be able to see. So I'm gonna jump in here. So first thing, so I am on my master track, and this is where we left off the last time. And again, somewhere towards the most the part that is the loudest in the song, right? So where you have pretty much all of the instruments or most of the instruments playing. Okay. So when I come back here, first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna bring up the Ulin. I'm gonna bring up the Ulin just like this. So I have the Ulin over here, and what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna turn off the graph over here like that. So I just have this part over here, right? The other thing that I'm gonna add here is gonna be the brick wall limiter, right? So I wanna have that through peak at a given level, and this is what I'm gonna have over here. So let me go over here and add that. So I have the brick wall over here. It is added here, and I'm going to make sure that I am a -1, so I can even type here and just say -1 is going to bring me there as well. Okay, so with that being set up, the first one I'm going to bring up is going to be let's go with the TR5 one. So I'm just going to say one over here. I have the TR5, so this is the one that comes with the TR5 bundle, right? The TR5, right? So over here, basically, so when I'm gonna play, you're already gonna notice that there is already an improvement to the loudness of the track over here. So if I play it, so just by putting it in, there is already some improvement in the loudness. So what I'm gonna try to do, the other buttons here, I would say, like I say, by the time I come here, for as you were able to see with a lot of those tracks, for some of them, people just push the loudness. And by the time I come here, I'm trying to make sure that my mix is right. As far as the equalizing those tracks. So by the time I come here, I really don't want or need to go and touch it. But if I do, right, there could be cases if I do, I want it to be really subtle. So I'm gonna try to have, if I try to have it, I'm gonna try not to go above, let's say this section over here above 1 or -1, just not to upset whatever I already set, right? So that is one thing that I'm trying to you need to keep in mind, depending as well, depending on how you want to do it. You can go above if that's what you want, but over here, when I try to come here, I'm just trying to have the volume a little bit higher. So let's do that. So if we wanted to meet that -14, you're gonna see that over here we are way above that. So I'm just gonna try to reduce that. It seems like we're a little bit there with the setting that I have here. So sometimes, like I say, if I'm gonna play, if I really need to move some things, I'm gonna try to see maybe if some of those settings do improve some of the stuff that I have. But I'm gonna try to play it. I'm just gonna hear. I'm just gonna see with listen with my ear if any of those settings over here trying to improve a little bit of sound. But again, I really try not to have it too much over here. So let's listen and let's just see if one of those settings what those settings give us, and let's see if we can apply some of them or not. And keep in mind as well, at the moment I don't have because I'm using a headset, I don't have the proper um, my proper mixing headphones, so it's very hard for me to really hear that difference over here. But this is how I would go if I needed to change it. But for the most part, I will try to keep it as close as to zero, and just make sure that I match the loudness with those two buttons over here. Okay, so that is with the TR5 one. We're gonna jump in with the initial master suite, so you could see that as well. So I have the initial master suite over here. This one I'm going to mute, so I just muted the TR51. So I have the initial master suite, I left the break wall limiter, and over here I have the loudness, right? So over here I'm going to reset it, and I'm going to try to listen as well. So let's go and do it. The nice thing with the master suite is over here as well, it gives us the LUFS, so we can just kind of look at this, and it's going to be very close to what we're going to get here. You already see here we have minus 1964, and over here is minus 20, right? This is one settings over here that one setting over here that I really like. So really making sure that most of my bass or anything that is in the low end that's gonna be mono. That's something that the TR5 I think it kind of has, but it's not set up the same way. It would be those buttons over here, that so the body over here and the bass punch over here, and as well a little bit of the width over here. Even though I think those two kind of just push the bass, and this one actually make it a little bit more stereo. But yeah, it would be those buttons over here that you will have to play with to try to achieve to try to get something that is similar to the stereo image over here, where you have the mono and the rest that is going to be in stereo. And same thing over here, if I really need to go and add some, like it's gonna be really, I'm trying to do it like really, it needs to be like really small, right? But again, that is if you feel like something is a little bit too much, because keep in mind over here you're seeing it's only 3 bands that we have, right? And it's a little bit the same thing with basically the 3 bands that we have over here are about the same that we have over here. So this is the bass, the middle, and this is over here is the treble, right? So if you look at the original like a parametric, you're gonna see, where is the parametric over there? It's hidden. So you're gonna see that we actually, we can actually use a lot of bands over here, but this one is more precise. So when you're just moving one band, you actually moving quite a lot of frequency. So if we're just talking about the 3 bands that we had there, it would be like this button here that kind of plays like for all this, the second button that kind of plays for all this, and the last button here that kind of plays for all this. So when you're moving one of those, you're actually moving quite a lot, right? It's not surgical. So just keep that in mind when you're making those changes at the mastering point. That's basically what's going on here. You're moving quite a bit just with one of those buttons, right? Usually I would do that. I like to use those 3 like really simple ones when I come to the mixing over here, but it might not be something that I really want to do when I'm getting to the mastering. So if we listen to it now really quickly. I think it's very subtle, but from even with the headphones, the headset that I'm here right now, sorry, the headset with which I'm hearing right now, I can see that the initial master suite is a lot sweeter on the trebles and doesn't have a lot of low end compared to the TR5. It seems like the TR5 is not too heavy on the treble, but has a good low end. I can actually hear the low end a little bit more. So just pay a little bit more attention to what I just say. I'm gonna play it again. So if you were able to just hear that, especially like the kick, you will see like the kick for the TR5 is pushing a lot more compared to the kick of the initial master suite, and it's a lot sweeter on. You can hear a little bit more trebles, a little bit more. There is a little bit more accent on the trebles there, right? So that is one thing with the initial master suite, just the algorithm, the way this thing actually works. That's how the sound actually comes. So that's what I was using before, but then I really noticed that difference. And then I switched to the TR5 one, and then I started to use the BX later on, the master desk. And between the master desk and the TR5, there is a little bit of difference, but it's negligible. The sound really is pretty similar between the two, this one and that one. So it really depends on the one that you use. So now I'm gonna turn off the initial master suite, and we're gonna do that with the master desk over here. So that's pretty much what I will do for this one. Really quickly push a little bit more over here. The foundation, I just hear what was the result between the two over here, and it seemed like for me this one was working a little bit more, especially for that song. It could be for a different song, I might want a little bit more foundation. Again, over here I haven't really touched it, right? That's a little bit the same thing. I don't want to over equalize. And over here we have that mono and stereo, right? So mono maker, anything right up to 164 I want it to be. Usually I might even push it to 200, but just to be really easy, 160 Hz over here. I'm gonna try to have it just mono, and I added a little bit of stereo enhancer over here, right? You have those modes over here for compressor, but I've found that the difference is negligible, so I don't even really switch it. Over here, the one actually I don't even know what that compressor link actually is. I just turned it on. The limiter turbo over here, I think it just add another trim over here on minus 0.02 minus 0.2 dB over here. So I'm like, you know what, that's fine, not a big deal. So this is what we have, and you're gonna see over here, we're still respecting that minus one over here. We're about minus 13.5. We're there, right? So not a big deal. So let me what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try to play the BX Master Desk, the initial Master Suite, and the TR5 one, so to see if you can hear the difference. You might not be able to do that, but maybe it's gonna give you an idea there. So this is what we have, right? So you again, you're gonna see it from me. I don't really see the difference between a master desk and a TRFI one, but that's probably just my ears. But it's very similar. But with the initial master suite, I can really see I can really hear the difference. So this is what I had for you guys, just to show you my process for mastering. We're basically coming at the end of this course, of this process. I have a couple more things to show you, and maybe some added bonuses. But that's what I'm gonna stop here. If you have any question, feel free to let me know. And I'm gonna add as well, probably again, the links of the plugins that I'm using here. Okay. See you in the next video. Guys, if you enjoy the content, share, like, and subscribe to the channel. I also wanted to let you know about my free mastering mini course that's going to be available there in the description. You're also going to get with that free banger drums kit, right, with some crazy samples. Basically, you're going to be able to make some crazy drum patterns. Okay, so the link is going to be in the description. It's going to let you know how you're going to have access to it, and I will talk to you in another video.